Trying to call it.
How good the pain medication is.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Please join me in pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to come out of executive session. So moved. Second. In favor? You're welcome. A long time since we haven't had a lot of people in the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
adjustments to the agenda. I have a couple. I'd like to 10.4 new business. We've got a survey to discuss, a survey we received from MMA to discuss. And then I would like to propose move the old business up ahead of the new business. The one item 11.1 to put that ahead of the new business. Any other adjustments? All in favor? Okay. Presentations, we have none. Public hearings, none. Citizen comments? None. Select board comments?
Nope.
Evan?
Nope.
Yes, sir. I've got a couple things, three things actually. If you haven't had a chance, folks out there listening, down at the Madomic River Community Park, down on off Friendship Road across from the bowling alley. The Public Works has been down there doing some cleanup and it looks really, really good. Just a few times they've been down there pushing mulching with the mulching head and cleaning up with the excavator, some of the stuff. And just that little bit makes a big difference. And when you drive by, you can certainly see it. So I appreciate that from Public Works, and talking to the Public Works Director, they have a bunch of stuff planned to beautify it even more. Last Thursday night, I attended the school board meeting. Just I like to keep updated with the school board. It was a marathon meeting. It went to after 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
And it was their main goal that night was to vote on their operating budget. And there was certainly a lot of conversation back and forth. I don't know if anyone watched it on the video. And I did get up and give an update on how we end up with our budget. And they certainly appreciated that info. And their number came in at $42,950,000. Is what, which is about 10% over last year's. And our cut on it, town of Waldoboro, will be 10% of that, which is 10% of 42. You do the math.
4.2.
Huh?
4.2.
4.29500, yeah. And that's obviously doesn't include what we're gonna see in their bond request and all that other stuff. And their board, their public hearing for that will be May 9th at the high school. So we certainly encourage people to go to that. In your pack, in your everyone, we've been talking about it, everyone got a copy of all the town-owned properties. Reason we wanted to hand that out is just maybe be some conversation in the near future on the different properties that we have in the town, just so everyone's aware of what we own in the town. That's all I have. Town manager report, there is none. How about it? She's not attending.
Good. Recovered. She's recovering. Yeah.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Jumping into old business. We have Kate here to talk to us about the quote for the ceiling tiles for the fire department.
So we reached out to two different businesses that do ceiling tiles. They both came and did site visits. They both said they were going to put in a quote. given them 3 weeks, reached out to both of them. Optimum was the only one that actually sent us back. Aceto Acoustics was the other one that we reached out to. So we have a quote from Optimum. Just to remind the select board, this is a community resilience grant that we got for $75,000 to do the LED lights upgrade and weatherization in the fire department. So the LED upgrades spent $28,000 of the 75. So we've got 47 left. Installation Systems of Maine is going to do the installation for 19,000. This total bid comes in at 17,000 if we have them do the demolition as well. So doing the taking out everything, taking it away, then we'll have the installation people come in, then they'll come back and put all the acoustic tiles back, smaller size. So to do all of that work, they gave us the quote of, they gave the base bid was if they don't do the demolition and they just come in and do the tiles themselves. The alternate, the 7,000 is if they do the demolition and putting back the ceiling tiles. So given that we have, if Installation Systems is Maine plus this Optimum bid, we would still have 10,000 left on the grant. Which, given that Optimum's quote was a couple of months ago, I'm assuming theirs will be a little bit higher just because of cost of materials, but we have enough to cover the total cost of this bid underneath the grant funds that we have with a little bit extra.
Are we looking for a motion here?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Which do we want? Do we want both? Or what's your opinion? Do we want both or do we want just the?
We have the money to, if we don't spend the grant money, we'll have to give the grant money back. We have the grant money. Public Works is very busy and they'd be the guys doing the demo if we didn't have it, so.
I make a motion to sign up with Optimum for the base bid plus alternative one, alt one.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? I'll just echo what Kate just said. I think it's a good idea to have them do it all that way. We're dealing with one person and Public Works has got plenty on their plate.
Does that motion need to be modified at all to allow for whatever price increase? I know we have enough in the grant, but.
This quote came in a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is the quote just for
So-
the ceiling.
Okay, so
For the ceiling tile, this quote is fine.
okay, great.
The Installation Systems of Maine quote were beyond the 3 months that the quote is good for.
Yep.
So that might have a little bit of shift to it.
As long as we give you the right tool, that's all I wanted to be sure of.
Thank you.
Did they, any idea when some of this stuff can start?
Installation Systems of Maine said he could put us on his calendar this summer. I just needed to get someone I needed to know when Optimum could do it, so that's the next question is when Optimum can come in and do it. But the installation can happen this summer.
And obviously the tiles have to come down before that, so.
Yes, so I'm hoping to call Optimum on Thursday when I'm back in the office and say, what's your schedule look like? We're gonna get on it. So that'll happen on Thursday if you approve it.
Any more discussion?
Just about coordination, so we don't have a schedule for the installation contractor. Is their price still valid if it's split into two different work periods? One for the demolition and one for the installation of the new tiles?
That's what they did here.
That's
Yeah.
what they did.
Yeah.
So it is split, okay.
Yep, and they knew that.
Yeah,
We
that's
talked
good.
about that coming in, that we would have them come in and do the demo. And then
Okay.
somebody else would be
Sometimes
doing the
there are two
installation.
separate mobilizations.
So, And that's why there's the base bid plus then the alternate is the cost to come in and do the work and then the cost to come in and do the demo.
All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Call them on Thursday.
And there's good follow-up on that because I lost it on the radar, but I knew you. Going on a new business, in your packet, you have sample copy of the warrant. we're not gonna go line by line unless anyone has any questions on them. As you notice. Just like we did last year. We show. I don't know, like we always do, we show how the board and the select board and the budget committee voted. But we also have what the original request was, correct?
We have, well, we showed a decrease if there was a change in their initial request.
Right, right.
Yes, I did.
How did we do this before? Did we go through line by line and approve each one individually, or did we do them all at once?
All at once.
So today it's like for your review, we'll have a public hearing.
We'll do the public hearing, that's when we'll go
On
line by
May
line.
12th.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why we're not going line by line today.
This goes to the printer on Thursday night at 5 o'clock.
Where is? Does the two articles have to do, they were petition, are they on a different warrant?
They're on here, one's under communities, the Waldo is Article 30. And the Y is Article 23.
Is that how we would normally do that? Have that on the same referendum? Since those two are kind of different. Peggy?
Yeah, that's how I did it
Okay.
last year, right? With the-
Maybe we have to
Yep,
remember.
there's- yep.
You don't have any questions for the clerk on these?
Yeah, just on Article 39, it said that charge an interest of 7% per annum. If people are later in their taxes, how do you calculate if it's less than a year, for example? So should it be 7/12 of 1% per month? Or should it be,
Well,
do they do it for a full, does it have to wait for a full year in order to assess the 7%?
no, interest starts the day after.
The day after, and it's compounded how often? Daily, monthly, weekly, annually?
Tax collector question.
Okay,
If you've ever played them late, you know it's daily.
Yeah,
It is daily.
this deal.
it is daily.
It's daily.
Okay, I just thought that could be a little clearer, that's all. It's the only question I had out of all of them.
Any other questions? So again, we're gonna have a public hearing on this Wednesday,
May 12th.
May 12th. So it'll be a couple days after the school board.
Yeah, I haven't got that ballot yet. I was supposed to have it last Friday, but I think Karen was sick or something. She sent an email today. So, but that question is the
Yeah,
standard same question.
Yeah, the same choice.
Except they don't know what. The bond question, I'm sure, will be, do you favor blah, blah.
Actually, there's gonna be three. They're gonna talk about the big bond or two, and then revolving renovation Fund or
So
whatever.
there's
Grant.
two
Grant.
additional questions
Yeah.
to the one, to the standard.
Yeah, because they got a grant for
Some of it in the bond.
X million, I can't remember.
Mhm.
Four, wasn't it?
4
4
million,
million.
4 million, but you have
They
to
have to
pay
pay
back
certain, yeah.
860,000 at 0% interest over 10 years.
Okay, there's no other questions on the warrant discussion. 10.2 nomination election clerks.
So this you have to do every 2 years before May 1st. It's a list of clerks that put their names in, but not limited to the list. As long as they are registered in the town of Waldeboro.
I just noticed one thing, the Steve Carp Carmen, it's Steve Carp and Carmen Carp.
Right. It's just.
And it says
Yeah, and then
and it says
Carol McDonald.
Carp, Carol, McDonald is on its own line, so you
Yeah.
got 3 names
Okay,
there
okay.
that you just have to tweak.
Yeah, that's what it, that's.
Wait.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Okay, I will tweet that, actually. I'll go do that before you actually sign this official.
And you check these people,
Yes.
Okay. so we just make a motion to accept the clerk's list,
If you would, please.
that's that motion.
Motion made second to accept the nomination of these clerks. Any more discussion? All in favor? Great. Next, we have a 10.3 CMP pole placement intersection of Fowler's Corner and Jackson Road. Seems to me we discussed this. Didn't we do this recently?
No, this is
A different one.
poll.
Oh,
And Bill gave the go ahead. It's-
Nation, make a motion to approve that poll. Pilot's Corner Road and Jackson Road corner. Second.
discussion? Must be for that new subdivision up there.
Is there one? Ain't been up that way in quite a while.
It shows Central Maine and CCI, which I guess CCI owns the Verizon copper line, so yeah, those are the 2 people that touch it.
Discussion, any other discussion on it? All in favor? Easy peasy. And next we have 10.4. This could be some discussion for us. Take one down, pass it around. Town manager sent this to me just before the meeting. She wanted me to run this by everyone. There's a survey that Maine Municipal is coming out with. They're trying to, there's a working group, I guess. Property tax researchers. Working with the state legislature on real estate property relief. And they're looking for 3 areas that we feel are the largest burden to our municipality of unfunded mandates from the state.
I guess on the school.
Well, that's what I
That's
said.
a lot of them.
That's what I said to Julie. It doesn't really, it's not really us specifically, but it all trickles down to us is the unfunded mandates that they put on the RSUs
Yep, 100%.
and which,
But it says specifically the impact of various unfunded mandates on municipal budgets.
right,
So they're not, maybe they have a different survey for the schools.
for the schools. One
That's
thing
on the taxpayer.
One thing I thought of, and Julie said the same thing, she was the mandate on how we maintain the state roads as far as plowing and salting and keeping the roads clear. We're not getting. I don't think we're, at least, my understanding, we're not.
We don't get enough
We
reimbursement.
don't get enough reimbursement, even though this year we got a little bit more.
I said, Will said we got what, 30 some odd thousand more.
We got a little bit more this year. It's still below what it really cost us to do it.
But is that an unfunded mandate or just a bad agreement that we made years ago when it was a better looking agreement.
Bad agreement.
Right. It doesn't have an escalator in it or any way to revisit it under a certain amount of time, after a certain
Yep.
amount of time.
I mean, if there's a free text field, I'd still call it out there and make the noise.
Another thing that came up was, tax exemptions on nonprofits.
Mhm.
That's an unfunded mandate right there.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Anyone think of any others? We figured you'd be the one who would know them all.
I can't think of any. The only biggest one I think feel is the school.
School, yeah.
That's the biggest one. That's the biggest tax burden
You
on us,
know,
but
even if it's off the topic that we're talking about, we should put it in there anyway. Just
I mean, yeah, it affects how we lay the budget out. We're as aggressive as we can be. Because we see that coming at us, right?
Select board and the budget committee works hard
Yeah.
to get a good budget together.
100%. Everyone's very reasonable with it.
Another thing that she mentioned was, I'm gonna have to talk more about this one, but. And you say we enforce. We have to enforce state regulations as far as the building code. Because, Mark's not here, obviously, but. There is no real building code in Maine that we have to follow, except for any municipalities that are 5,000 or more, 4,000 or more people. The small towns don't have to follow any building code.
Yeah.
The big, larger towns do. And sometimes we're forced to enforce these regulations. And we're paying for it to enforce it.
So changing the scale to a higher population would be a plus for us,
For the building code.
for the building codes. I mean, when I redid my house up in North Waldeboro with my son, you know, my captain said, well, you gotta bring it up to state codes like R60. And I was like, out of your freaking mind. R60, you're gonna have 2 feet of insulation to get that far.
Build your house underground is about.
And they were supposed to repeal it, but at the time when we did it last winter, not this one, the winter before, that's what the state law was R60. But
Yeah.
fortunately, we're pre-existing, we're just adding, you know, changing it,
Right.
but
Now,
we
let's
still
think-
put our R58 in it, actually. Like that, two layers, it was this thick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that someone ought to be looking at the way we figure out our property taxes. And the evaluation process. We always go by what the market value was. We all know what happened there. So how does that affect us?
Yeah. Well, it affects us a lot, but
How do you fix that? That's has to be fixed at the state level.
I think that's a Daryl question. I think Daryl would be better to ask that because I agree.
But we're mandated to go by the state's rules on how to.
But I'm sure there's
Formulate
things
the-
in there that well, you know, they just did that with the unorganized towns. They just jacked theirs up 150% property value.
And is there a fair balance with us as there is down in the southern part of the state?
Right, 100%. When they talk about affordability, they say it's in a range. Well, we're put in the same range as Southern Maine. That's not affordability. And that's a big problem, because I asked that question at a Lincoln County Regional Planners meeting. I said, so what's the definition of affordability? It depends on where you live.
Right, and that's the thought, that's one.
But a $400,000 house here, you know, is probably close to a $400,000 house down there. You know, so we're being treated the same, which we're not. And that's a big difference.
That's happened to all the schools this year. Everyone lost some state funding because their evaluations are high. So their theory is, state theory is, if your evaluations are high, your people can afford the property tax,
Right,
the school tax.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
the school formula,
Yeah.
they just changed that a little bit.
And there is, I think there's a bill in there, a bill in the legislature right now to
Yep.
adjust that.
Yeah, we voted on that, I don't think yesterday. Might have been.
Did it go to get approved?
I think it did.
So the state, the RSU could get some more money.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, which I've been advocating for anyways, because all these rural towns are getting hammered by taxes. And all these big cities and like Cape Elizabeth was one of the big examples I back. In my first term is they were getting the lion's share of the extra money that they were, the state had given out was 150 million. They were getting like 4 million of it, 5 million of it. Because their budget's so high that they were getting a lion's share of it. And we was getting like over the course of 2 years, like 1,900,000 some odd thousand. It just, we needed it more than they do in reality.
You get that? But Julie,
I don't know that we've seen a huge change here in Waldeboro, but some of the housing density regulations that they have changed with your, accessory dwelling units and
Oh, yeah.
such. If we saw an explosion of that, we would see an increase in need for infrastructure, so you'd see an increase on your fire, EMS, police, because you'd have that increased population that they mandated we allow.
because the ADU,
They allow that, ADUs, and I
Yep.
think my property is 0.44 acres and I could put 5 residences on it or something crazy. Like, it's not much land, as long as you have the public water and sewer,
right?
you can add a lot. And I mean, again, I don't think that's necessarily affecting us, but it has the potential
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Because if you have more residents, you have more needs.
Anything else we can throw at them? Unfunded? If you think of anything, let the town manager know in the next
I
couple of
mean,
days.
the biggest one is clearly the school, but I don't know if that's what they're looking for in the way they've asked the question,
Right,
but.
So it's still throwing.
Yeah, oh, I'd put it in there because, they're gonna see it on every
68%
single,
of our,
every single town survey is gonna see that,
Yeah, and in the event the school doesn't get a survey like this, if there is not one for that side,
Well, maybe it triggers one.
Yeah.
You get enough of those, the school issue responses.
Whether it comes from the state or the feds, doesn't matter,
Oh, the feds are,
the worst,
they're responsible for more.
and we should be getting more federal funding.
any other discussion on that?
Well, just as far as the schools are concerned, capital, and you raised the issue several times too. The lifetime of that school or the high school. I mean, if we put $24 million in there, what is the lifetime of those improvements? We're being forced to upgrade to all of these ADA accessibility rules and new building codes at that school. And any new building codes that come out, any new school requirements that come out. It's not just the unfunded minutes from the unfunded mandates from the operating budget, but also on the capital side.
yeah, are they upgrading a building just to knock it over?
Good.
Yeah. They also, a little bit more specifically, a mandate will come down with regard to increased programming, for example, pre-K.
Yeah. that just
And
came-
now,
Yeah, that's.
and now pre-K, because now we got 4-year-olds coming this school year, and next school year will be 3-year-olds.
They just
That
started.
was at the state level.
Right, and the state mandated that.
Yeah.
And they will fund it for like its first year or first and second year, and then they drop their funding, but the expectation is program
To
remains.
maintain, yeah.
So that's a huge one when you add large groups of kids into a school building. 3-year-olds, and next year I have 3-year-olds. Yikes,
Good luck.
yeah.
I'm good with that. Agenda items for the next meeting. Next meeting is gonna be on what, 28th?
Yes.
We got
have,
transfer station.
do we?
Yep, we're gonna discuss some repairs to the transfer station with the transfer station director.
We have a code issue on Lady Slipper.
Oh, yes, yeah. That one could be a good one.
We have one, possibly 2 liquor licenses.
Are they renewals? So. Thinking, couldn't you just pre-approve, can't you just approve them?
Well, I could until I can't.
Okay.
I could
Mhm.
with an okay from everyone, but it was requested that it go before the board.
By the applicant?
No, by a select board member, I would like to see it on the agenda.
I don't problem.
Huh?
I don't problem with it.
No, I'm just curious.
And
Anything else?
And that was me. I just requested that when they come up, they go on the agenda, then we all hear it, and if it at least it's in print, if somebody has something from the public they wanted to add to it, rather than us just. And then Pam, I think, probably was spending more time sending us emails saying, I need one more, I need one more.
Yeah.
To do it online. She still has to then go back and do it
law
online.
Says that you have to have a public hearing if it's a brand new,
Right,
but you do not if it's just.
and that's why I said that, because if it's a
Yeah.
renewal, then.
Yeah, but it's not that much of a big deal.
No, I always check with Chief Lash if there's any issues and never had an issue with anybody. So anyway, those are the only 2. I don't know of anything else off the top of my head. And then May 12th will be the public hearing for
First of all, the stuff will come up. That said, get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Favor? Thank you. That's a good one. I should kill that thing.
Somebody shut off.
And you can have that. Clerk's list.
Yes, actually,
Were you privy to the discussion about the fuel system at the high school? That they're gonna be doing a wood-fired boiler
They're
there.
doing biomass.
Yes.
Yes, somebody
doing it?
called me about that. About the school doing a biomass,
Yeah.
burying
You just shut the computer down.
3 massive